This is Ion Hong Kong with Key.
And this is Harminder, and we'll be discussing the top news for the week involving Hong Kong and China. And welcome to the 27th episode of Eye on Hong Kong. And I guess we'll just get right into it, shall we?
Yeah.
Nothing happened this week.
So the end of the show. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, let's talk about ice cream or something. No, I'm joking.
What?
This city's getting nuts. All right, earlier this week, there was the attempted takeover of the surrounding area of the Chief Executive's office in Lechko.
Yeah.
In Admiralty on Sunday.
I think
was it Sunday? It was Sunday.
Sunday. Because I think on Saturday night they call people back to the Umbrella Square.
It was a couple of days actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That long ago?
I remember it was a couple of days, and they're like, "Yeah, bring your hard hats, bring some masks." Yeah, I wonder what you guys are gonna do.
And then they actually announced it on Facebook and everywhere, all the social media, and even the news. The main news, they reported that as well. So everybody knew about that.
Can you imagine if the Japanese had written in their papers and in the U.S. papers, on this day we plan to bomb Pearl Harbor?
They did, but they bombed it according to their time zone.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. All right. My point just got completely thwarted. Thank you. But my point is that they announced it, so obviously police were ready. Yeah. And you had to expect them to be ready.
So basically, if we have different time zone for MOT and Central, probably we will win.
Do that. But okay, so they had the attempted takeover. They tried to take over Lung Wu Street again, and the Passover, the underground Passover tunnel. Police pretty much beat the hell out of them back.
Right.
And used a sprinkler.
They said.
They said a sprinkler. These days, a fire hose is a sprinkler, and other means, pepper spray, to take them back. Okay. Now, I expected that police response.
Violence, protesters.
A police response. Okay. But then I see police beating the hell out of people in the head with their collapsible batons. On camera, okay? And we have an example of that. Run clip 1. Best job in the world. and you see that they weren't charging, but the police were. But there is another clip where the protesters actually did charge. I think they got just sick of it. But they started throwing bottles and stuff, and that agitated the police some more. But the police response was absolutely ridiculous.
Why so?
Because they're beating people in the head. Look,
why so?
I believe in the police training, they're supposed to, when you use your baton, the aim is the arm and the legs. Because those extremities are not exactly vital.
But in reality, probably it's quite difficult to manage which part of the body you are hitting, right?
I don't care. That has to be your aim. Not aim for the head, aim for the biggest damage. And you saw many people that day in clips and photos with blood coming out of their heads.
Right.
Okay? That is wrong, especially when they're not offensively trying to beat the hell out of you. Well,
But they say that they're using the cardboard shield
Oh
as
my
a
God,
weapon.
so menacing. Cardboard shields, where in the United States they had a standoff at a ranch and they had assault rifles versus the police. Of course, they were all being lawful and abiding. They weren't menacing. That's different. That's a whole different topic.
And some
but
of these
cardboard
yeah.
shields.
Well, the pro-Peking legislators accusing the protester using this cardboard shield with some needles actually implanted in the shield.
Nails?
The
like nails
and,
on a board kind of thing?
And,
is that true?
I don't know. I never seen any picture of
Neither
that.
have I, so I don't know where this is
And then they also said that the policemen, they got their hand
one had like a thumb broken or something like that.
I don't know. They said there were holes on their hands, but I never ever see a picture.
But yeah, apparently the biggest injury from the police was like a broken thumb or something like that.
Wow.
Poor baby. I mean, why'd you become a cop?
But I thought that they have these gloves on. Did you remember that?
Those were illegal, weren't they? The plastic gloves that they were using?
No, I think do you remember in the Mongkok clear off day,
big
they have these
gloves?
Yeah, they have the gloves, right? I thought that that's the purpose to protect their hands.
They were told not to or something, like it's illegal. I can't remember. I didn't see it at the Admiralty protest clips.
Because
I may be wrong, but as far as I could remember, I didn't see it in the clips. But they were being menacing, as you saw with the guy with the pepper spray. They were, both sides were throwing insults, so I can't say one was being more insulting than the other. But some were being really crude, like a bunch of police officers you saw in a photo literally pointing to people and saying, come up here and I'll fight you. I mean, if you want to fight people, there are plenty of clubs and, associations that'll go one-on-one with you. The only difference is that the other person is trained how to fight as well. See, that's what they don't want.
Yeah.
They want sheep. They don't want go one-on-one with somebody who might have the same type of training. Okay, they were on a footbridge. They were telling people, come up here if you want to fight. They were telling women, we'll rape you in the police station if we arrest you. I mean, they were saying some really nasty stuff as well. Okay, lots of witnesses, so they can't just say it's just one person saying it. People were calling into the call-in shows and confirming it. Then we saw the police get their own medicine in a way. Run clip 2. Undercover police officers getting pretty roughed up by the crowd there. And of course, some people are trying to break it up and saying, "Mota, don't beat him, don't beat." And then you got the other undercover cop with his boat tongue menacing people to get away. Okay, and watch the officer on the ground. I found this very interesting. This clip will show up.
The woman screaming, "Stop beating up people!"
Yeah.
Take away that baton.
Right. Okay, so. Okay, I'm not sure who's kicking who there. There. Now apparently this guy's knocked out. He's an undercover police officer. There's another cop over there mouthing off with another protester. And right here, watch. Yeah, apparently he's knocked out cold. Okay? He gets up. Oh, wait. Oh, okay, that's not who it's supposed to be. Okay. Oh.
That's quite dramatic.
That's so dramatic. And there's more after that, but I wanted to point that out. So some drama queening going on there. But, I mean, it's getting down to a level where both sides are now engaging in some... I mean, this is this, and then I don't even want to think about what the next, violence will be on either side, okay? It has to end. Look, I know a lot of people are not going to like this, okay? The peak of the movement is when it should have moved on to the next level. and the peak was about 30 days into it. You have plenty of time to think about the next move, or even the week or two after. After the meeting with Carrie Lam, there should have been some PR move to say, look, we did something as well. It didn't have to be dramatic. I think just ending Causeway Bay into Admiralty would have been a great step, because then it opens up the tram line, and you don't say it's for the government, it's for the Hong Kong people.
Wouldn't it be a good suggestion to do it now too?
Well, at this point, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry. That you have to. I've said this before. When people speak about what should and shouldn't be done, they speak at a level like everybody's on their side. Number one. Number two, that everybody knows what's going on. That's not the case. You have to think about how does the guy who goes to work, comes home, has a beer, watches soccer, goes to sleep, and is agitated by the protest. How does he think? How does he think? That's what the mindset you have to get into. And at that point, even Joe Sixpack was saying, or Joe Bag of Donuts, whatever we want to call the average guy or girl, was just thinking, oh, they have the moral high ground right now. They're being very peaceful. But then things started generating over time. It went up like this, and now it's coming down like this. It should have ended a long time ago. Now it's just time to end it before they come and drag you away. Just don't give them the satisfaction of taking you to the police station, doing God knows what with you. And our guest in the next half, Ken Jeong, will explain what goes on sometimes. And it really is time to get to the next level, to engage the community and the public, which hasn't been done effectively before, in my opinion.
I just wonder how to engage.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it seems that they are waiting for the police to come to clear them off now.
At this point, you're not going to become martyrs. At this point, it's going to be with a lot of people. It's going to just be great. Thank God that at least the streets are open.
It seems to me that they just don't want to do it by themselves. They don't want to initiate that. Oh, we are retreating because.
Don't say we're retreating. You don't even have to say we're retreating. We're just saying we're not going to give them the satisfaction of removing us. But we'll be back another day if we want to. That should have been the move before. You say, we're moving now, but we'll be back if you don't fix this. And if they don't fix it, come back. And people will understand.
What do you think that if they still have the power to mobilize people like that before?
Even if it was just 5,000 people instead of the height of it when it was like 10, 20, 30, 40 estimates range, 1,000. You know, I think they would have gone. The hardcore group is still there. They would have come out no matter what.
So, but when they bring these 5,000, let's say 5,000 people back to, do you think that they still can occupy the same area and to
go somewhere else,
like the
Chater Road, outside the HSBC building, Chater Garden. There's so many choke points in the city. You don't even need to sit in the road. You just sit in the intersection. You know, an intersection does way more damage. Imagine sitting at the intersection of DeVoe Road and Petter Street. That is a heavily trafficked area, not only with people, but traffic with people as well. Okay, sit there. That causes chaos, and you only do that as a last resort, anyways. This was their last resort because the government just doesn't listen. This government is deaf, dumb, and blind. You know, three monkeys, right? That's what they are. And I don't blame people for initiating it, but you need a game plan. You need an end game as well. Problem is, now that there's infighting, it's, they don't know what to do. They look lost. I mean, they're trying anything in the book. Oh, a hunger strike. You know, Joshua Wong started a hunger strike. He lasted 5 days. He ended it today.
Right.
I mean, you should have gotten a fat guy from your group to start it. At least it would have lasted 50 days. Not Joshua Wong, who looks like he's always...
I'm glad that he at least lasts for 5 days, because
I'm surprised as well.
Would,
but good on you.
3
Congratulations.
days.
You made a point, but still, too little, too late at this point.
I also blame it's not about Joshua Wong for the tactics of having a hunger strike for the very last minute. I actually blame the government for being so cruel not to respond.
They're not even meeting them.
Yeah.
Pro-establishment people have come up to them and said, look, we are going to try to get you a meeting. And Sue Elling's like, no.
Yeah, because he's...
You want me to be C.Y. Leung right now? All right, interview me. Say you want a meeting with the students.
How to do that?
Just say, are you going to have a meeting with the students?
Pretending you are a
Yeah, I'm
Siwa
Siwa Leung.
Would you meet the people,
I would
the
only meet the
students?
people if they conform with the basic law and the MPC decision. Next question. Any question?
What is the what if
So
they,
long as it goes with the basic law and the MPC decision. Next question.
hi robot?
So long as it goes with the basic law and the MPC decision. That is CY Leung. If your job is that easy, just put a robot in there. There's no difference. This is the most unengaging, most deaf, dumb, and blind executive #HK ass clowns government I've ever seen in my life. Even pro-establishment people are getting sick of it.
I think so too, because today we actually hear some more people from the blue ribbon, the pro-government people, and they're also sick of CY Leung as well. They're posting messages.
Because he's
on
crap. Let's be honest. He's like he is, as James Tien said, the worst chief executive we've ever had.
He's just not very popular. I would say he's not very welcomed by everyone.
But he still has a 40+% percentage approval rating, which is shocking.
I think so.
You know how high that is in other countries?
At least in Taiwan, that would be very high compared to President Ma.
Well, President Ma is trouble, definitely, but we'll move on from that. The original occupiers, Benny Tai and Reverend Chu and Dr. Chen, they all tried to give themselves up to the police station because they participated. They said they would do this, and the cops said thanks, but no thanks.
Because
I think they just didn't want to make an example of them, like martyrdom.
Right.
What's your opinion?
I think because it's Occupy Central never happens, so they don't have
In a way, it
charge.
never happened.
Yeah.
Our Central was never occupied.
Exactly. How could they charge them for what? Like
For saying what it wasn't. Well, their plan, definitely the plan they had, it just did not happen.
If you want to charge them for organizing the illegal gathering, they didn't even organize people. They couldn't mobilize people to occupy Central. So it's not the right charge.
Well, actually, it's the government's fault for making a bad situation worse with the tear gassing.
Exactly.
If they didn't do that and just told people we're going to arrest you, and then everybody would just sat down,
exactly,
it would have been over in a day or two.
And don't forget that.
I won't remember.
Don't forget that the Occupy of the Harcourt Road was before the trio announced the Occupy Central, right?
Correct. No.
It's after, right?
After.
So they announced it after the school strike.
Yes.
So quite a lot of people, quite a lot of students already there. And
they were mad because they were thrown out of Tamar Park because the pro-Beijing, we were there.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah.
The pro-Beijing, we did a show there. The pro-Beijing group took over the park, and they were shoved off into a corner on Tin May Street, and they got pissed.
And it's quite.
And then they tried to storm Civic Square.
And quite funny that if you want to charge the trio for organizing the illegal gathering, I have to say that when they announced the Occupy Central, a lot of people go home at that night. I can see that people just leaving.
They were like that.
So they actually have the effect that to tell people to go home. So they should
it's actually the government that got people back into the streets more than ever.
I think so too.
And moving on, we have the British MPs. There were a select committee. It's not part of the government. It's a government that kind of just it's just MPs looking at a situation that they want to explore and then reporting it to the government. And then the government can do whatever they want with it.
Exactly.
They can ignore it, their choice. Okay, but they were barred from entering Hong Kong because
why?
Well, you know what? We'll let Mr. Ottaway explain. Run clip 3.
As a result, the Deputy Ambassador to the Chinese Embassy came to see me here in the House on Friday afternoon and informed me that the committee would not be allowed entry into Hong Kong for the purposes of our inquiry. The meeting took place in a committee room on the upper committee corridor, and fortunately for greater accuracy, I invited the editor of Hansard to attend to ensure a verbatim record of the conversation, and I'm grateful to her for her efforts. At the heart of the Chinese argument conveyed to me at the meeting is that the joint declaration signed by China and the United Kingdom is now void and only covered the period from the signing in 1984 until the handover in 1997. Given that the Chinese government gave an undertaking that the policies enshrined in the agreement would remain unchanged for 50 years, this is a manifestly irresponsible and incorrect position to take. It is a live agreement, which is why the Foreign Office rightly continues to produce its 6-monthly reports on Hong Kong.
Here. Now, apparently...
So you have the joint declaration here.
Here's the joint declaration, okay, right here.
Can you tell me the terms of these joint declaration? How long will they last?
There is absolutely nowhere in the joint declaration of an expiry date.
Yeah, well...
Okay? If you were to ascertain one, it would be 50 years from 1997.
But it's not explicit saying that it will end, actually.
A lot of stuff isn't explicit, but when it came to these agreements. But it doesn't explicitly say that the joint declaration, one, ended on July 1st, 1997.
Yeah.
Nor does it say it ends on June 30th, 2047. Okay? But if you read it, it seems that the intention is that this is a live agreement until 2047.
Okay.
Okay? Now, they were barred from entering China. They were told by the Chinese government, you are not going to get into the Select Committee or is not going to get into Hong Kong. Read me these two lines of number 10 from the joint declaration, starting from here.
Oh, me?
Yes, go ahead.
Using the name of Hong Kong.
Under here.
The government of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region may on its own issue travel documents for entry into and exit from Hong Kong.
It's in the joint declaration that the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region issues its own travel documents for people coming in and out of the city. So there's a violation of the joint declaration right there. Number 2, I think it's Article 145 in the Basic Law says the same thing.
Yeah.
That the Hong Kong government is responsible for our immigration. So the PRC government has just violated both the joint declaration and the Basic Law. But they go into the British Parliament there and talk to Mr. Ottaway and say, you are in violation of some fantasy law, okay? And our sovereignty, you're meddling with my country and my motherland and all this. And that insultingly saying that you should stop thinking in this colonial way. You're not a colonial power anymore. That's not what this was about. So they're being patronizing, I would say, the Chinese government, thinking that everybody's dumb and will just believe whatever they say. And they're in breach of both the joint declaration and the Basic Law. And that won't be the first time.
But what can we do about it? Sue them?
See, that's the problem. Is that
take that to the United Nations?
I guess that's the only thing you can do because it was registered there.
And so, do you think that the UK will do it, or they just do their own debate?
I mean, they talk tough, but they don't seem to do anything. That's the problem. I mean, it's nice to see them actually having an emergency debate and talking about it, and it was quite insightful to hear some of the different MPs there on the issue.
They have very radical ideas too.
Some of them do. But denying them, isn't this is a diplomatic row? Denying sitting members of parliament entry into a country. I mean, they said in that meeting,
debate, yeah.
we've never been denied entries in the most
Even
authoritarian countries. But we're being denied in Hong Kong. For goodness sakes, where does it end then?
And don't forget that the UK citizens, they have a free visa to come to Hong Kong. They can, just come
it's
here.
Huge, isn't it? Like 120 days or something? It's like half a year they can stay. It's like one of the best visas they can get here. But the UK government has to say something about China's belligerence. As Chris Patton said, if you just let them do whatever they want, they're just going to get worse.
Well, don't forget that the PLC gives them a lot of money.
Yeah, well, they're buying up a lot of their assets as well. I understand that, but is money the only thing then?
To them?
To the British?
I don't know. Some of the member of parliament, they did say that they should, not only look into the money.
Well, of course. I'm Patton said, look, you're not going to lose contracts. You might lose one or two, but overall, everybody wants to mutually cooperate in the trade. But then the Chinese Foreign Ministry, Ms. Hua, right, comes out and says stuff like Britain has no moral responsibility. Not according to this.
British, they do have a moral and legal.
Legal, but who do you complain to? That was never explained in this. Like a lot of things were not explained in this.
Right.
Right? I mean, it says the chief executive will be elected by elections, but that can mean anything.
Yeah.
Right? So they have to do something about it. And I guess our final two topics, we got to bang through these. Taiwan had local elections,
right?
And the ruling Kuomintang got their butt whooped. President Ma and his party got their butt whooped in the elections.
What's the signals of that?
They don't want closer integration with China. They don't mind the trade, but they do not want closer integration.
People do say that the umbrella revolution do have some impact on the election.
They're showing that one country, two systems
completely fail.
Exactly. that China will micromanage everything. They cannot let anything to chance.
I'm very happy for the Taiwanese.
Sure. Whatever they like, they have free, open elections. Finally, Rita Fan, the only sitting member of the MPC Standing Committee, came out and said, well, in 2017, I would like to see CY Leung, Rita Fan, Freudian slip, Regina Ip, and Anthony Leung to run in the chief executive election.
Genuine choice.
Genuine choice if you have a lobotomy, if you've had your brain cut out, okay? So you want me to choose between a liar, a person who's been run out of the city because of her stance on Article 23 national security legislation, and a guy who cashed in on a car because he knew a car tax was coming in, so he thought, I better buy it now.
Who will you vote for? Who you will vote for this guy? If
I
you
abstain.
So you would just blank vote?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be the best protest.
Very likely that we have to do that.
I mean, it's ridiculous. That is not a choice.
True.
That is not a choice. I am not an idiot, okay? I'm not one of these loyal government supporters, okay? I'm not somebody that you can just whip and say, vote this way. I have a brain. You haven't killed me yet with it. Anyways, stick around for the second half. We have an interview with Ken Jung. You don't want to miss this.